They say silence is golden. But what if I told you that silence has the power to break the strongest of egos? To dismantle the walls people build around themselves, brick by brick, without a single word spoken. In a world where everyone is shouting to be heard, where voices clash like swords in a never-ending battle, there's a hidden strength in choosing not to engage, in holding back your words. This is not just a strategy for winning arguments. It's a profound Stoic practice, one that goes beyond the noise and reaches into the very essence of who we are. Today, we're diving deep into the ancient wisdom of Stoicism, where silence isn't just the absence of sound, it's a powerful tool for personal transformation and reclaiming your inner peace. Stay with me because what you're about to discover might just change the way you see yourself and the world around you. Before we dive in, if you find value here, please share this video with someone who might benefit. If you appreciate what we're doing, the simplest favor you can do is hit subscribe. Every second of this video is crafted to deepen your understanding of the silent power you hold. So be sure to watch till the end. Let's get started. Imagine stepping into a bustling public forum in ancient Rome, where debates aren't just about sharing ideas, but spectacles of wit and verbal prowess. In one corner, amidst a swirling storm of heated arguments and raised voices, stands a Stoic philosopher, a figure of calm in a sea of tumult. Rather than jumping into the fray, he chooses a different path. He remains silent. This isn't a passive act, but a deliberate choice, embodying the Stoic belief that sometimes the most powerful statement is silence itself. The Stoics, known for their emphasis on inner peace and rational thought, believed that not every provocation deserved a response. By holding his tongue, the philosopher in our story isn't showing weakness, but strength. He demonstrates that one can choose not to be swept away by the emotional currents of disputes and disagreements. Now, let's bring this concept into our modern lives. Consider the everyday arguments that arise, perhaps during a team meeting at work or in a discussion with a partner at home. What if instead of responding in haste or escalating the situation, we chose to pause and reflect? This moment of silence isn't about ignoring the problem, but about seeking a space for clarity and calm. It gives everyone involved a chance to step back, cool down, and approach the issue with a more composed mindset. Embracing silence in the face of conflict can transform relationships. It shifts the dynamic from one of confrontation to one of contemplation. It encourages all parties to consider not just their next words, but the impact those words might have. Silence can break the cycle of reactive responses that often do more harm than good in tense situations. This approach does not mean avoiding necessary conversations or suppressing important emotions. Instead, it's about choosing the timing and tone of our engagements more wisely. By integrating moments of thoughtful silence into our interactions, we cultivate a more thoughtful, respectful, and ultimately effective way of communicating. We learn that not every silence is empty, but can be full of purpose and potential. It's a powerful lesson from the Stoics that holds true across centuries, a reminder that sometimes the loudest message can be the peace of our unspoken words. Imagine yourself at a silent retreat, nestled deep within a lush forest or perched by a serene lakeside. Hear the only sounds, the gentle rustling of leaves and the distant call of a bird. In such settings, the absence of persistent external noise allows for an unparalleled form of introspection and self-discovery. Silence, in this context, becomes more than just a lack of sound. It transforms into a vehicle for profound personal growth. The Stoics, with their emphasis on mastery over oneself, recognized this potential. They advocated for periods of silence to foster inner peace and mental clarity, tools essential for building resilience and wisdom. This practice isn't merely about isolating oneself from the chaos of the external world, but about delving into the depths of the inner self. During such moments of silence, you are invited to confront your thoughts directly, without distractions. Our minds can clarify, sift through the noise of daily responsibilities, and focus on deeper, more existential questions. What are my true desires? What fears are holding me back? How can I live a more purposeful life? These questions can surface and find resolution in the clarity provided by silence. This practice of silent reflection can lead to greater emotional stability. By regularly engaging in this introspective silence, you start to develop a buffer against the stress and noise of everyday life. This doesn't just improve mental health, it enhances your interactions with others. When you are at peace internally, your ability to remain calm and composed in stressful situations improves markedly. Embracing silence can also cultivate a type of wisdom that is proactive rather than reactive. Stoic philosophy teaches us that the wise are not those who know many facts, but those who understand how to maintain tranquility. By making silence a regular part of your life, you train yourself to respond to life's challenges with a poised and considered approach. Picture this: two friends are caught in a heated discussion about a contentious political issue. As the conversation intensifies, one friend, a follower of Stoic principles, decides to remain silent. This deliberate choice to withhold verbal engagement does something unexpected and powerful. It acts as a mirror for the other friend. In the silence that envelops the space between them, the ranting friend begins to hear his own words echoing back at him, unchallenged by counter-arguments or interruptions. It's in this quiet reflection space that he starts to recognize the gaps and perhaps the extremities in his arguments. This moment is transformative. It's not just a pause in a conversation, but a pause for introspection. Silence transforms from mere absence of noise into a dynamic force. It grants the speaker a rare opportunity to listen to their own voice, to really hear their tone, consider their words, and confront their own behaviors and biases. This scenario illustrates a critical point. When we choose to stay silent, we aren't just withholding our thoughts. We're providing others the space to encounter their own thoughts more starkly. This can lead to moments of self-realization that are both profound and unexpected. The reflective mirror that silence offers is not a passive experience, but an active one. It encourages those engaged in conversation to fill the void left by the absence of a reply. What do they see in this space? How do they interpret the silence? Does it frustrate them or enlighten them? The answers to these questions can reshape dynamics and relationships, often leading to more mindful and measured exchanges in the future. Integrating deliberate periods of silence into our social interactions can thus serve as a powerful tool for personal and relational growth. It challenges both the speaker and the listener to engage more deeply with the conversation and with themselves. The next time you find yourself in a spirited debate or a challenging discussion, consider what might happen if you choose to respond with thoughtful silence. Could this silence help to bridge gaps in understanding? Or might it provide a necessary moment for all parties to reconsider their stance? Engaging with silence actively and purposefully can open up new avenues for understanding and connection in our increasingly noisy world. While silence is often celebrated for its strength and strategic value, it harbors a nuanced complexity that, if not navigated carefully, can lead to significant misunderstandings and even breed resentment. Consider, for instance, the tale of two friends, where a prolonged silence from one is interpreted not as thoughtful contemplation or respect for space, but as indifference or neglect. This scenario illuminates the delicate balance required in the effective use of silence within our interpersonal relationships. Silence, when misapplied, can act like a void filled by the anxieties, insecurities, and assumptions of others. In the story of these two friends, one silence may have been intended as a peaceful respite or a personal need for space to reflect. But without proper context or communication, the other friend perceives this as a lack of interest or concern. Over time, this misinterpretation grows, seeding doubt and cooling affections until the relationship finds itself at a crossroads, burdened by unspoken grievances and mutual misunderstanding. This highlights the critical importance of timing and context in the use of silence. Silence is not merely the absence of speech, but a form of communication that speaks volumes. Therefore, its application must be as deliberate and thoughtful as any spoken word. Knowing when to be silent is as crucial as knowing when to speak. For example, choosing silence in a moment of heated argument can be a powerful statement of self-control and respect, giving all parties time to cool down. Conversely, remaining silent when a friend reaches out for support or when an issue needs to be addressed can alienate and harm the relationship. Moreover, The effectiveness of silence should always be complemented by empathy and clear communication. It's vital to ensure that periods of silence are not perceived as emotional withdrawal, but understood by all involved as a thoughtful pause. This might mean prefacing a period of silence with an explanation, such as saying, "I need some time to think this through properly, but let's revisit this conversation tomorrow." Or even acknowledging the silence directly afterward to clarify one's thoughts and feelings. Incorporating these nuances ensures that silence remains a tool for enhancing understanding rather than an unwitting catalyst for confusion. In modern workplaces, silence can be a particularly powerful leadership tool. A leader who actively listens, rather than constantly talking, signals confidence and respect for their team's insights. It fosters a culture where employees feel heard and valued. Leaders who embrace silence can help nurture creativity, allowing space for ideas to flourish, without the pressure of immediate judgment or critique. By waiting to speak, leaders invite more thoughtful contributions from their teams. This not only empowers individuals, but also cultivates an atmosphere of reflection and deeper analysis. In high-stakes situations, particularly during negotiations, silence can be strategically invaluable. It can prompt the other party to fill the gap with additional information, sometimes revealing key insights or concessions. This calculated use of silence helps leaders maintain control over discussions and steer conversations toward productive outcomes. In both personal and professional contexts, silence, when used mindfully, holds the power to transform interactions, foster deeper understanding, and enhance one's presence.